Welcome to the Boat Galley Podcast. I'm Carolyn Shearlock, here with tips, reviews, and how-tos for your cruising adventure. The Boat Galley Podcast is sponsored by SeaTech Systems. SeaTech Systems offers cruiser-tested solutions for weather and communications, whether it's satellite, Wi-Fi, cell, or single sideband. SeaTech's packages are simple and affordable. Get free shipping through July 2018 with the code GALLEY2018 at checkout.
Slow down, slow down.
When you buy a new, or a new-to-you, boat, you assume that the instruments are set up correctly. Don't. Particularly the depth sounder. Your purchase survey probably checked that the instruments were working, but I'll bet it didn't check that they were showing accurate information. Here's the story of our depth sounder. We didn't think to check the settings on Barefoot Gal after we bought her. It wasn't until our fourth day out on her that we began to suspect something was off. I was at the helm, motoring into Factory Bay on Marco Island. The chart showed plenty of water where we were, and chart depths are at low tide, and it was now mid-tide. But the depth sounder alarm was going off. 4 feet. Okay, I only need 2 feet, but okay. 3 feet. I was getting a little bit tense. 2 feet. Yeah! Looking astern, though, we weren't kicking up any mud. I put the engine in neutral, and we coasted forward. The depth sounder showed 1 foot, then 0 feet, then -1. I never even knew a depth sounder could show negative depth. Obviously, we were not aground or even pushing through soft mud. Whew. As the depths suddenly started showing numbers closer to the charted depths, we wrote the episode off as an electronic blip. On our previous boat, we had sometimes had erroneous readings due to thermoclines, that is, layers of water at different temperatures, and figured that something like that had happened again. 6 months later, though, in a totally different anchorage, we again had funny depth soundings. Again, the depth sounder was showing scary shallow numbers in an area that should have had 6 feet of water. We bailed out of the anchorage and went to a nearby one with deeper water. After we anchored, I looked more closely at the chart depths, the tide tables, the depth sounder readings, and eventually the settings on the depth sounder. Suddenly, a light bulb went on. The depth sounder was in the bottom of the hull, and we had been told that it was reading water under the hull. But it had a keel offset set. If it was actually trying to read from where the depth sounder sat, there shouldn't have been a keel offset. Someone, an installer, previous owner, or maybe just how it had come out of the box, had thought they were setting the keel offset to show true water depth, but had set it the wrong way. It can be set either plus or minus, depending on where the depth sounder is installed, and whether you want to display water under the keel or the total water. Instead of giving a reading 1.5 feet more than the depth where the depth sounder was, it was showing 1.5 feet less. I got out the owner's manual and read about keel offsets and was 99.9% certain I'd figured out the problem. But before changing anything, we decided to check the water depth the old school way. We didn't have a lead line, so Dave tied a wrench to a line. I thought the true water depth was a little bit less than 6 feet, so we marked the line right at 6. Dave lowered the line until the wrench lay on the bottom, and the mark on the line was about 4 inches out of the water. I was right. With that, it was a simple matter to correct the settings with the directions in the owner's manual. And yes, we checked it a few more times in other anchorages to make sure it was now giving good information. Bottom line is that we were lucky. Yes, the depth sounder had been set up incorrectly, but at least it was reading shallow. Had it been set so it read deeper than the actual depth, depending on the depth sounder location, particularly in monohulls, This is a definite possibility. We might have gone aground. When you get a new boat or have a new depth sounder installed, be sure to check the depth on the depth sounder against a measured depth. Don't trust that a previous owner or installer set it up correctly. And you may also want to put a label near the depth sounder stating what it's showing. True water depth, depth at the depth sounder, or depth under the keel. That way, should anyone else ever be helping you or moving the boat in an emergency, they will know what the reading means. Until next time now. Thanks for listening. If you like the show, please be sure to subscribe in your podcast app. Just search for the Boat Galley Podcast. And reviews are always appreciated. Until next time then.